we're here today to talk about the song Hanukkah, Hanukkah, and different ways that you can teach it to your elementary music students this year. So Hanukkah, Hanukkah is a folk song. Obviously it's a Jewish folk song because it's about Hanukkah, and I love to use it with second grade because second grade is always working on half note around the holidays, and it has a half note in it. So that makes it just really perfect to tie in with our concepts as well as teach a holiday that most of my kids don't know about and that, you know, has a really rich musical heritage. So we're going to talk about the song and different things that you can do along with the song. So if you are ready for that, then let's hop right on in. All right, so first of all, you need to learn the song. Now I'm filming this actually in 2020, so you might have to record the song, or you might have to sing it through Zoom or do all sorts of weird things. But you know, we're just gonna go for it anyway because hopefully this video will be helpful any other time. So Hanukkah, Hanukkah goes like this. Hanukkah, Hanukkah, festival of lights. Candles glow in a row, 7 days, 8 nights. Hanukkah, Hanukkah, make your dreidel spin. Round and round, round and round, everyone join in. Hanukkah, Hanukkah, what a merry time. Cakes you eat, what a treat, see the faces shine. Hanukkah, Hanukkah, sing and dance this way. Round and round, round and round, happy holiday. All right, so we learn the song, and then after that we look at the rhythm and we really practice those long notes at the end. So each line ends with a half note, and in my class we clap the rhythms, and for our half notes we do this, and it's just so much fun. The first time they learn it, they're like, ooh, and it is just so fun. And we say like 1, 2, or we say ta. So we'll go through and play all the different rhythms. So it would just be ti ti ta, ti ti ta, ti 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 ta. And all of the lines are actually that same rhythm, which makes it extra super easy. If you are playing instruments, you can play that on instruments to practice them. You can arrange the rhythms in different orders to have the kids fill them out. I love to put this on the board or put it on a worksheet and cover up certain rhythms and have the kids guess the ones that are missing. Now I actually do have a lesson pack to go with Hanukkah, Hanukkah, and so I will link that down below. It has PowerPoints and printables and all sorts of things to help you teach the song, and has a lot of fun resources, so definitely go check it out. After that, we play it on instruments. So I love to do an orchestration with 3 different instruments. So we do the barred instruments, usually a xylophone because metalophones give me a headache. Is that bad? And the woodblock and the jingle bells because everything deserves jingle bells at the holiday season. So our xylophone just plays C, 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 F, 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 C, 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 G, 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 C. And each one is a half note, so we emphasize that it's going to be a half note. With the jingle bells, they're just playing half notes, so they're just ta, ta, the whole time. I like to have one super simple, especially for second grade, because they're not quite as used to doing things in different parts quite yet. And then our woodblock plays ti ti ta, ti ti ta, ti ti ta, which makes it really easy because a lot of the song is that part. After this, one of my favorite activities is to make a rhythm menorah. So I have this in the printables in my lesson pack, which I will link down below. But basically we just print out a menorah, and each of the kids, they can either do it individually or all together. They take all of the candles and write rhythms on the candles and put them in the menorah. And we usually look at them sideways so that you can read it going down, and they end up with all sorts of different rhythms and have their own compositions, and it's just a lot of fun. This is also awesome to put on your bulletin board if you want to display some of the things the kids have made. And the next thing is, of course, we have to play Dreidel. Now, I bought a huge bag of Dreidels off of Amazon really cheap last year, so I will link those down below. I don't have them with me because I'm still teaching from home, but I will be using them whenever we're allowed to share things again. This year, however, we will be using a Dreidel game on ABCYA, so I will link it down below. It is super, super easy because all the kids have to do is like click the thing, which means you don't even have to really explain how to play Dreidel, which is really good for second graders because by the time I explain it and then they go play it, they're gonna forget because they're in second grade. And so they basically just have to click, and you can add up to 4 players, and so it's a lot of fun. You could do this whole class and have like group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4 and see who wins, or you can have them do it in groups, or you can have them do it individually by themselves on their computer if you're teaching on Zoom. If you are playing it the real way, then how you play is that everyone puts pieces into the pot, and so it's supposed to be gelt, which is money. Obviously you're probably not going to use money in school. Person starts by putting a few gelt in the pot, and then you spin the dreidel and you take turns doing that. If it lands on the gimel, the player gets to take everything out of the pot. If it lands on hay, I'm not sure I'm saying these right, by the way, just trying. If it lands on hay, then the player gets half of what's in the pot. If it lands on shin, then the player adds one piece into the pot, and if it lands on noon, I'm not sure, I'm sorry, correct me down below, then the player doesn't get anything. So this is a really fun game the kids can play. It has cultural significance, and it's also a lot of fun. I like to use this with little tiny rhythm cards as their gelt, so that instead of just putting gelt in, every time they put them in or take them out, they have to play the rhythms as their like transaction. And so when they put one in, they have to play it. When they get them all out, they have to play a lot of rhythms. You can make it just one, of course, to make it a little bit easier, and so the game doesn't take forever, but it is fun to play the game but also get that rhythmic practice in. I also love doing small group activities like this where I can walk around and listen to the kids reading the rhythms, and it's kind of a low stakes way for me to see how they're doing. So you can easily get a little grade to see who is understanding rhythms when you're not in the whole group, everyone playing at the same time. Now I have one more Hanukkah specific thing before we get into just like fun things you can do, and that is to definitely make sure you explain Hanukkah and learn about Hanukkah. I found a really fun video that I'm showing to my kids this year that is a kid explaining Hanukkah. It's about 4 minutes, and it uses a lot of that Jewish vocabulary that the kids can be exposed to, but he explains it really well. And also he's a kid, which I think just makes it so much more fun to watch, is the fact that it, you know, he's like their age. So I will link that down below. Definitely check it out. You can of course play any video for the kids that would teach about Hanukkah, or you could read a book about Hanukkah, but I like the video because I feel like I'm definitely not the Hanukkah expert at all, so having someone else explain it just feels a little bit better to me. Now, a couple of things that are not necessarily like Hanukkah related but are a lot of fun. You can go sock skating. We do sock skating every year, and last year one of my kids said, "This is the best day of my life," and I was like, now it's the best day of my life. So sock skating is very simple. If you have tile or laminate floors, then you just have the kids take off their shoes and they skate to the steady beat. I love to play Vivaldi's Winter while we do this, or maybe Sleigh Ride, and we just sock skate to the steady beat. I usually do this in groups so you don't have a ton of kids flying around the classroom at the same time, but it is a lot of fun. I have a couple of clean old pairs of socks so that if some of my kids are not wearing socks, then I can give them some socks to wear, and then I just take them home and wash them and bring them back. And if you have carpet, obviously you can't do sock skating because that wouldn't work, but you can do paper plate skating. So you can have the kids stand on paper plates and do it that way. It is a little bit harder trying to get the paper plates to slide, but it is still a lot of fun. Speaking of winter, you can of course take winter and use that as another extension. You can do sock skating, you can keep the steady beat, you can play it with jingle bells because everything deserves jingle bells around the holidays, and just any of the fun other ways that you can do listening. I love to listen to the Four Seasons and have the kids draw pictures. All of those things can be really fun and related to Hanukkah. And the last one is that you can teach the song Dreidel, Dreidel, because I mean, if you're gonna teach Dreidel, you have to teach Dreidel, Dreidel. I teach Dreidel, Dreidel to my 3rd graders, so I like to have kind of the Hanukkah, and then we do Dreidel, Dreidel so that we learn about it a couple times. And by the time they get to 3rd grade, I also find it a lot easier to actually play the Dreidel game. They just have a better capacity for playing games like that. All right, so that is all that I have for Hanukkah. I will link the lesson pack down below and all the other things that I mentioned. And if you have any super fun Hanukkah resources, books, lessons, movies, whatever, leave them down below because I would love to learn more about how to teach this really awesome holiday to my kiddos. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please make sure you hit the subscribe button for more videos, and I will see you next week. Bye!